Some cases were never solved. Some calls were never traced.
Take a look at this photograph. It shows a typical 1970s apartment interior: floral wallpaper, a small dining table, an entirely unremarkable domestic space. But this specific apartment is where one of the most thoroughly documented paranormal cases of the 20th century began. The women who lived here are seen in this archival photo. They were nursing students. By nature and training, they were pragmatic, grounded in science, and accustomed to dealing with high-stress physical realities. They did not jump to supernatural conclusions. So when a Raggedy Ann doll in their apartment started moving on its own, they tried to find logical explanations. But the activity escalated rapidly. The doll began migrating from the living room to the bedroom while they were out. Then handwritten notes started appearing out of nowhere. The situation reached a breaking point when their friend, Lou, experienced a terrifying physical assault. He awoke paralyzed, unable to move, and was left with deep, unexplained scratches across his chest. You can see the sheer atmospheric terror of the home reflected in this photograph of a witness on that very bed. The entity avoided attacking immediately. It spent weeks subtly manipulating objects and leaving notes. It executed a deliberate, slow burn designed to steadily erode the roommate's sense of safety before ever making physical contact. Desperate for answers, the students brought in a psychic medium. She claimed the spirit moving the doll was a young girl named Annabelle Higgins, who had supposedly died on the property years earlier and simply wanted to be loved. This animated diagram illustrates a core concept in paranormal investigation known as the permission loop. Inhuman entities operate under a strict set of rules. They cannot simply take over a space by force. But when a human feels sympathy for a spirit, when they accept the narrative of a lost, harmless child, they unknowingly drop their guard, willfully inviting the force in. There was no little girl. The Annabelle persona was a calculated fiction. It was crafted entirely to exploit the nursing students' natural empathy. This deception reveals exactly how these forces operate. They lack the inherent power to bypass human will. To achieve full attachment and eventually possess a target, they absolutely require human authorization. When the students realized they were in severe danger, they called in specialists. This photograph shows paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren around the time they took the case to assess the apartment. The moment Lorraine walked into the apartment, she saw through the ruse. She recognized immediately that human spirits do not attach themselves to inanimate objects. The doll was a conduit being used by a much darker, inhuman entity. Look at this close-up of the doll. It has soft fabric, red yarn hair, and a painted smile. Yet when Ed Warren finally picked it up to remove it from the apartment, the air in the room grew instantly heavy and freezing cold. The entity was actively resisting the extraction. The danger followed them outside into the night. As seen in this reference photo of a 1970s vehicle interior, the Warrens were trapped in a confined space with the object. Minutes into the drive home, the engine stalled out completely. Then, at high speed, the steering wheel violently locked up, sending the car drifting dangerously toward the edge of the road. Lorraine glanced into the back seat. The doll had shifted, its head tilted forward, watching them. Ed immediately stopped the car, pulled a vial of holy water from his pocket, and sprinkled it over the fabric. The tension vanished immediately, and the car started normally. But the event proved a crucial point. The entity was not bound to cotton and yarn. Its ability to disrupt a combustion engine and lock a mechanical steering column showed its reach extended far beyond the physical boundaries of the toy. Sometime later, a visiting priest came to the Warrens' home. You can see his serious, authoritative demeanor in this portrait. But that day, he looked at the doll, laughed, and dismissed it as a mere toy, telling the investigators they were overreacting. Hours after leaving the house, that same priest found himself in a catastrophic accident. His vehicle's brakes failed suddenly and completely. He survived the resulting crash, but barely. This photo captures Ed and Lorraine in deep consultation. Analyzing the pattern of events, A realized the entity possessed a distinct psychological profile. It was violently sensitive to disrespect and demanded absolute fear and recognition from the humans around it. The break failure was a calculated strike. The entity uses sudden, violent retaliation to enforce its dominance, ensuring that anyone who interacts with it clearly understands the stakes. To neutralize the threat, the Warrens built a specialized containment unit. They constructed a locked glass case, blessed it with specific holy seals, and placed the doll permanently inside. They attached a strict warning label to the front: "Positively do not open." This label serves a specific function. It acts as a strict physical and psychological barrier to the permission loop we discussed earlier, preventing visitors from engaging with the force inside. Today, the doll is categorized as a captured conduit rather than an active threat. The object itself remains dormant, yet it is still tethered to the same malevolent force. The glass case effectively functions as a sensory deprivation chamber for the entity. By cutting off its access to human interaction, the case heavily restricts the entity's ability to deceive, manipulate, and ultimately attach itself to new targets. The necessity of that glass barrier was proven when a young man visited the occult collection. He ignored the warnings, stepped directly up to the case, and aggressively challenged the entity. He knocked hard on the glass, laughing, and demanded the doll scratch him. Lorraine ended the tour and made him leave. That evening, as the man and his girlfriend were riding home on a clear, empty road, he suddenly froze. He lost control of his motorcycle, crashed violently into a tree, and died instantly. His girlfriend survived the wreck. When asked what caused the crash, she provided a chilling detail. She said that right before they went off the road, her boyfriend told her he saw the doll in the mirrors, sitting directly behind them on the bike. This fatal accident precisely mirrors the brake failure experienced by the priest. Both men openly mocked the conduit. The man's death proves that the rules of retaliation remain active as long as the conduit exists, even behind glass. If you visit the museum today, you will see Annabelle sitting motionless. Her hands rest quietly in her lap, her painted smile completely unchanged. The true danger of this entity lies in its immense patience. It does not need to move to be lethal. It sits quietly behind the locked glass, an active, dangerous force, simply waiting for someone to knock.
If you enjoyed this nightmare, subscribe to Mr. Halfnight for more horror stories.